You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily represent those of the network, its advertisers, owners, or sponsors.
This is episode 251 of the IT and the D Show. Guest this week, segment 2.
Significantly more sober than episode 200.
Indeed. We are joined by Michelle Richards in segment 2. She's hosting the 19th Annual National Women's Business Conference in Livonia. Has a lot of great stuff to talk about. Segment 3, Diane Bois is here, return offender, talking about Ann Arbor health hacks. And then segment 4, Jeremiah Dr. Hook from Daily Detroit, going to talk about the Mackinac Policy Conference. Awesome stories to share. Before we get going, hey, this portion is brought to you by our friends at Huawei. Introducing the Huawei MateBook X Pro, winner of 27 global awards, and now comes with Windows Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Unlock your Huawei MateBook X Pro with a touch of your fingerprint. Secure, fast, no password to remember. For a limited time, get a free $300 gift card with a purchase. Visit a Microsoft store near you today. Dave, you may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those, right?
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hey, Dad, hello, this is Pinky, the genius, the real genius behind Pinky and the Brain. And when we take over the world, the only show that people will be able to listen to is IT in the D with Bob, Dave, and Yuri. No!
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my boo-boos.
What happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bumhole?
Exactly.
Come on. Try. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the TV show.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT and the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Data K, the voice of Professor Xavier from X-Men Evolution. Storm! Come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm.
You're listening to IT in the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey, everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT in the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT in the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT and the D? Nerds.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hi, it's Julia Montgomery from Revenge of the Nerds. I listen to IT and D. And I'm in love with a nerd.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
I'm totally into Dave, but not so much Bob.
This is Robert Hayes, the Jet Striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Hello, smart people. Yakko Warner here, and the only show we listen to in the water tower is Bob, Dave, and Nuri at IT and the D. Good night, everybody.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
So,
Bob and Dave,
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
What is up? Thank you for listening. This is the one and only IT in the D show. We made it all the way to episode 251, and we are broadcasting live here in Studio One in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. It's Bob the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek. Neri the FNG is on location, but Randy, I do the Twitters, Walker is doing the Twitters. Find us online, itinthed.com, and give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, so here's the deal. The single router Wi-Fi model just doesn't work for our increasingly high bandwidth world. What you need is a distributed system like Eero. Whatever your Wi-Fi needs, Eero has the power to seamlessly blanket your home in fast, reliable Wi-Fi via Ethernet, wireless, or any combination. Simply set it on a flat surface or plug it into a wall outlet to expand coverage into any room. Not to mention, with the addition of a third 5 gigahertz radio, the second generation Eero is now tri-band and twice as fast as its predecessor, which lets customers do more in every room of their home simultaneously. And with the addition of a new thread radio, Eero can now connect to low power devices such as locks, doorbells, and other sensors. Meanwhile, Eero Beacon is half the size, but is even more powerful than the original Eero. So whichever model you choose, with Eero's incredible customer support, you can call and get a hold of a Wi-Fi expert within 30 seconds. Now, I'm actually kind of bummed Nuri's not here because he just switched over, or I don't know, actually, Jerry, you would know. Did he switch over to the Eeros yet?
He is now with his Eero baby.
And are things better?
Yes. Markedly better.
Yeah. So, I mean, you may have heard on the show, Nuri's been complaining about his Wi-Fi network at home. The router that he had was just crapping out all over the place. Coverage on the third floor was horrible. As
the man in the third floor, the coverage is no longer horrible. In fact, it is wonderful. It is a warm blanket of Wi-Fi, fast, warm Wi-Fi.
Nice and warm and toasty. Life's good. Well, and it is. I mean, it's such an easy setup. The app is great. I like the ability to cut my daughter's TV off at, 9:00 on school nights. Life's good. So here's the deal. For free overnight shipping to the U.S. or Canada, visit Eero.com. That's EERO.com and select overnight as the shipping option and enter IT in the D at checkout. That's Eero.com. Offer code IT in the D, all one word at checkout. Thanks, guys. Love the product. Thanks for the support.
And it's so easy.
Even a Bob can do it.
Even I can do it.
That is the thing.
No, it's a true story. And hey, do us a favor, mark your calendars. I believe we are doing an event the same third Thursday as Detroit Startup Week. I did reach out to our buddy Kyle over at Grand Circus, who's part of it. Hey, maybe we can join forces, and maybe, I know there's another networking event that's going to suck, not like ours, because ours is going to be awesome. So I said maybe we can do some stuff. But anybody's in tech, come to Nancy Whiskey.
Yeah, we should. Absolutely.
So it's either going 21st or 22nd, Nancy Whiskey.
21st.
5:00 to 8:00. Yeah.
Well, it's a great place.
And then I found out Marcus Lemonis is speaking at Detroit Startup Week.
Is he an ancient Roman senator?
Yes. He's on the CNBC The Prophet. He's like Shark Tank, but you actually see what he does. It's kind of a cool show.
Nice.
I'm religiously addicted to that. Well, it's like one of the few shows that I have to watch every single one.
Very cool.
So I'm like guest speaker. I'm all in.
And hey, before I forget, our buddies over at Detroit Labs have their apprentice program rolling. Applications, I believe, are open through the 15th, if I recall correctly. So we'll go with the 15th. So look, if you want to be a developer, for the love of God, check out their apprentice program. Few are selected, out of it, but those that do, tend to do very, very well.
It's like American Ninja Warrior. If you can get to the end, you got a job.
Exactly. You're going to be doing well in life. It is really, really cool.
So this was a fun weekend for social media. International or IHOP, basically introduced it's going to be iHob. So then the internet kind of went nuts and said, okay, it's going to be breakfast. It's going to be breakfast. It's going to be breakfast. So IHOP comes out today and says it stands for burgers. And basically the entire internet basically jaw dropped and said that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. In brilliant fashion, if you haven't been following, if you go to the Burger King Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Burger King changed their logo to Pancakes King and basically made their cover photo a stack of pancakes.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone, Wendy's basically came out and said,
"Oh yeah, somebody hit him up on Twitter and was like, "Oh, you're just gonna, you guys
are you worried about them?
Are you worried about them?" And they were like, "No, we're not really afraid of somebody making burgers that pancakes were too hard for."
Right, right. And basically, just basically, it was savage on. But I'm not gonna lie, that's probably one of the dumbest. Dumbest,
dude. I must have checked.
Let's call it a pivot. Let's call it a pivot because I hate the word pivot. Comes to business.
Is it a curated pivot?
It's a synergistic pivot.
Who I would have again paid good money, reality TV show. I would have produced it, paid all the money just to see that boardroom going. Breakfast just isn't cutting it for our customers anymore. We need burgers. Is a hot market right now.
Why?
See now,
that's what I'm saying.
All I can think about is that new IHOP Applebee's.
The IHOPlebee's,
that's opening in downtown Detroit. It was IHOPlebee's, but now it's going to be IHOBBlebee's.
Hobble.
Is it just for people who don't walk correctly?
But there was a ring to IHOP. IHOP. We're going to IHOP. There isn't a ring to IHOP.
And you went there for dude, maybe once a month.
Dude, it's breakfast. It's breakfast.
Yeah,
I go there for pancakes, not burgers.
How many places are open for breakfast anymore? Like a couple diners. Is there a Denny's even anywhere?
There was one over by Comic-Con.
Right. Yeah.
Dang it, Bob. Now you're making me want moons over my hammy.
See?
They don't even serve that anymore.
Come on.
That's been off the menu for years.
Oh, no.
Then they deserve to be closed.
Yeah, I don't even know what that was anyway. And can I go on another rant real quick while we're at it?
Could I stop you if I tried?
Absolutely. You could not. We've been going to the movies for our entire lives.
Right.
And a while ago, Imagine Theater, and I love Imagine Theater. They kind of redefined the theater experience.
Right.
Adding
a drink, nice big
gourmet food,
chairs.
big recliners. They made everyone kind of follow them. They have this thing called the D-Box experience. And I got seats.
Is it in the D-Box?
No, it's row D, which I think that's why they called it D-Box. So those are the only tickets that were available for the solo show. I tried to take my kids because we couldn't last weekend.
Let me guess, now you know why they were available?
Now I know why they're available. They're a little bit more expensive. They are they make these chairs we're sitting in, these $20 office chairs,
right,
seem comfortable. And then who sat there and said, you know what I wish right now? That I could move with the movie as it's going on. I want to shake up and down and my chair to go front and back and left and right.
No.
Well, no.
No.
Gretchen's like, I'm turning it off. And I said, just wait. I want to see what it's like. 2 minutes in,
I'm turning it off.
It's off. Like I had a headache at 2 minutes in with these awful. By the end of the movie, my back. I mean, it was awful. There was no other seats to be had. It's not like I could move. I'm gonna sit and watch a damn movie.
Who is that for?
I don't know.
Like people that like the rides at Epcot Center?
Maybe those rides give me a headache too. But I figure, okay, it sounds like it'd be fun. Then all of a sudden, it's like. Everything like the little speeder would crash or whatever, and then your whole seat would crash with it. And it's like, this is awful. Like it's one of the dumbest things I've ever.
I've deliberately avoided them.
It's going to go the way of 3D.
I love the Dolby sound.
That was the best.
That was amazing. But yet, no, I don't need my seats to move.
The D-Box slogan is "Feel it all."
No, I don't want to.
In the D-Box?
No.
No.
Hyper-realistic, immersive entertainment experiences. Apparently that's what shaking your chair
spray water and give me smell-o-vision.
Synergistic
the Star Trek
pivoting.
experience in Las Vegas.
Curated, synergistic pivoting.
Mother of God. And you had one more that I didn't actually know what it was about. What's with the Amazon add-on?
Oh, I'm livid. God. So my kids played soccer and it's 100 degrees out. And I said, I got those Dwayne Wade towels. You put them in water and you put them on your neck.
Okay.
And it makes you cold all day.
Right.
And I said, they got these soccer headbands. I've seen them before. And they're like $6-7. And I go, you guys, they're pink, match your uniform. You can scrunch them down, wear it around your neck or around your head, and it'll keep you cool.
Okay.
I can't buy it from Amazon because it's an add-on item. So I had to buy.
Oh, so it's only available if you purchase something else.
So not only that, on Facebook, somebody posted they had the Elmer Fudd Cute a Wabbit pop vinyl.
I saw that.
Pop. So I had to have it, and I couldn't buy it because it was an add-on item.
Can you put two add-on items together?
No. So I tried to buy quantity 2 on the headbands. No. So I bought another one of those T-shirts from the same company, just like out of spite. And you know what I mean? And then like I bought like my granola bars, my stupid RX bars.
Right.
To add on to
so you can add them on to anything.
Yeah.
Like they're not tied to a specific other
No, but I
item
had
you
to buy
have
something else.
Oh, okay.
But it got shipped separately.
Well, yeah, of course.
So you think add on to like decrease ship? No. It's just to buy some more stuff. Like you can't go to Meijer and just buy a Snickers bar. No. You have to go buy shoes now. Like, can you imagine the cashier telling you that?
No.
Be like, kiss my ass.
No, thank you.
So Amazon, even though I'm going to buy from you every day for the rest of my life, kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not.
Right.
Let's not even pretend it's any different.
I'm not banning them.
Hey, so I do love. I thought the best story this week was that the cops in Richmond, Virginia, had to chase a stolen tank through the city.
Does this happen like every 10 years?
It does seem that way.
If it's not filmed for cops, I don't care.
Yeah, but no, it was filmed. There was live video while it was going on, and apparently some soldier got disgruntled and hopped in a tank and just drove off base.
He wasn't gruntled?
No, I've never met anyone who was gruntled.
Me neither.
It's like I've never met anybody who was combobulated.
Right. Always discombobulated.
So yes, thankfully the situation ended without injury.
There wasn't an end then?
No, there was no end then.
Oh.
That was just somebody stole a tank and drove it through Richmond, Virginia.
Which every 8-year-oldness is cheering him on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, it's like every street chase known to mankind. Where do we go? Let's go to so Apple had two big announcements. One, they are up over 550,000 active shows.
I thought there would be more. This podcast you referred to.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah. So, you think about it. So, our running joke is always 1 out of every 2 Americans has listened to a podcast because 1 out of every 2 Americans has a podcast at this point. So, yeah.
True story.
So says the podcast creator.
Exactly.
I think what it meant was 550 active.
Yeah, 550,000 active, which means they released an episode in the last X number of weeks, yada, yada, yada.
When do you get blown out?
I think it's 3 weeks, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
They start dropping your subscribers.
Okay.
So, it was kind of cool. They've got
Which reminds us we should do a meatball.
Yeah, we really should because, we haven't done that in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a thing.
We'll do the iHopplebees, the downtown.
Yes.
Is that open yet?
I don't know. It should be.
Oh, we'll find something else to do.
I'm sure there's bad reviews on it.
Already. Absolutely.
It's just
they're
pending.
now hiring.
As we're open up the new studio at Detroit Shipping Company. So I had to Google it, and there's reviews from like 2 years ago.
Right, and then people were upset about that they built the thing.
They announced it. Then they're reviewing it already. I'm like, that should, there needs to be review police somewhere, I think.
You would think so, but and it just, oh my God. And I guess let's talk, we might as well. So somebody bought Como's.
Yep.
And is keeping the name Como's, and they're pouring a lot of money into it. And that's not good enough for some people because like Ferndale.
It's not what I want.
I've seen this actually in a few places where people were saying only people who live in Ferndale should own things in Ferndale.
Yeah.
And that seems really ridiculous in a city of like 15 or 20,000.
Everyone I know from Ferndale or around Ferndale, they're always like, oh, we don't want to be the new Royal Oak. Well, you're not. You're the new Detroit.
Yeah.
You absolutely are.
The new Detroit.
You are because you are populated apparently completely by people that are, it's not by someone here. It's not what I want.
The joke is that, while we were wanting to not Royal Oak our Ferndale, Birmingham swooped in because the company that bought Como's is from Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, but go figure. So the the price tag was $4 million. So you immediately priced a whole hell of a lot of local people out of the market.
Have $4 million
Just saying.
access to it.
Ferndalians?
I think that's
Don't
the
ever
actual
say
term.
that again.
Well, Ferndalugians?
Yes, I prefer that one.
It'll be on the next episode of Star Trek, the
Yeah.
Ferndalians. I enjoy Ferndale a lot, but for me, and this is my little like snobbishness in there, I kind of feel like Ferndale and a couple other inner suburbs are kind of like Detroit light. Like they want to be in Detroit, but like they don't want the car insurance or the schools. They go really close to it.
Right.
And then it's almost Detroit, but not quite. But
they want the good without the bad. That's
Well, yeah.
It's not alcoholic beer. You get that great.
Yeah, I just want to pee.
The less
that's
taxes.
all that's for.
Yeah, exactly.
And no saltines.
The great beer gut without that pesky buzz. That's what you're Ferndale. Get cheap car insurance, but I still get the stake ownership claims.
And I say this as someone who goes to Ferndale often and enjoy it.
So do we.
It's much like the Amazon comment that you made earlier. It's like, well, I'm not changing my habits.
Yeah, it's not going to stop me from going. But yeah.
No, right.
Well, and the other one was that so apparently Apple is now taking active steps to block Facebook tracking, so that because everybody's seen the like, share, or whatever buttons all over the internet.
Yeah, not just Facebook tracking, but ad tracking in general.
Yep.
And it really affects the entire like online business if this catches on beyond Apple.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I guess like realistically, when they say blocking, all they're really doing is they're going to hit you with a pop up in Safari if you happen to be using Safari,
Which is
that
like,
says, hey,
Randy?
Yeah,
According to the BBC, it said jams. So immediately I thought raspberry. Yeah, Lone
Not
Star.
if we jam it. Yeah, nice. The little pop up that says, "Hey, do you want to enable tracking or allow this to take place?" But again, you have to be using Safari, and
No, good for them. Yeah, I mean, literally, it's got to start somewhere. And, and Facebook's coming out with all these ads now saying, "Oh, now
we're sorry.
Now we're taking it seriously.
We're sorry.
We didn't care before, but now
we're gonna
now.
and those ads are going to run for like 2 weeks.
Well,
let's be real.
Oh yeah, no, they'll forget. But that's the thing. Like, big story came out that Facebook just like gave data access to all the big, basically Chinese and Asian manufacturers.
4 of them, yeah.
It was I got Huawei, Amazon, Apple, BlackBerry, Samsung.
Okay.
And BlackBerry, nobody cares. So I mean, 4 of them.
Yeah.
Well, they're Canadian. They'll be very polite about it.
Exactly. Yeah,
We have your data. Sorry.
I'm surprised there's still some rim jobs in existence.
Boom.
Yeah, just
Well, no, and the other one was that so Facebook apparently screwed up, and like the vast majority of user posts between May 18th and 22nd were just public. Like, so if you had your privacy settings set to like friends only and that kind of stuff,
absolutely.
they ignored them.
So didn't this happen? I don't know how many years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
It happened a while ago.
Early Facebook days. No, where like something would like reset and you had to like go in every 3 months. It was kind of like calling Comcast and bitching about your cable bill.
Oh yeah, up until about like 2 years ago, every time Facebook rolled out an update of any kind, you had to go through and recheck all your security permissions, recheck all your sharing permissions, recheck everything.
I think it's just like a once a month thing you should do.
I think once a couple of Zuckerberg's private posts went public, they stopped doing that.
Yeah, go figure.
Well, no, it's a thing we talked about with AT&T and Comcast. When this software updates go to your cable box, it would broom you back from 1080i to 720p, so they wouldn't have to push so much bandwidth through their pipes. And I was livid about that because like I've been watching this crap for 3 years at 720p. The humanity, my life's hell.
Clearly, you didn't notice.
I didn't.
So my little rant. Okay, look, you silly, stupid, immature, juvenile, ridiculous, dumbass, butthurt Star Wars fanboys need to stop. You need to shut up. You need to go back to your basements, and you need to stay off the goddamn internet. Later, so Daisy Ridley hopped off social media not too long ago. Jake Lloyd basically
is clinically insane
because of you assholes. And now,
thank God, the actor that played Jar Jar Binks is kind of an obscurity.
Right, nobody does. Yeah, the Nemoidians nobody hears from. But no, Kelly Marie.
But what about the Ferndalians?
Right. So Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose, Rose in the last one, has now hopped off social media and just specifically said it's because of the asshole fanboys giving her shit.
It wasn't even giving her shit. Death threats, rape threats. I'm talking just the vile underbelly of humanity, worse than the Detroit Free Press message forum.
Comment section. Yeah,
Right?
no, dude, it's ridiculous. Like I don't get it. And like and we had this conversation before the show where we've got a mutual friend that's one of these butthurt fanboys. They're like, oh, there's too much forced feminine. Shut up. Just seriously shut up already. Like, so, and here's the funny thing is that all these butthurt fanboys are now boycotting Solo, which is the dumbest goddamn thing you can possibly do. Because you know what? You want to hate the trilogy and what you imagine is going on in that, fine. But Solo is the movie you actually want, jackass. So when you boycott that movie, that's the movie that's not going to get made anymore, and they're just going to keep rolling out the stuff like the trilogy that you hate. So congratulations, jackass. You're making it worse for yourself.
But I've never seen a bad movie. I've seen a lot of bad movies. I've watched, what do they go? It's like Judd Apatow. I've seen them all.
Always all of them.
Me and Bo rented Game of Night the other night with Jason Bateman.
It's a thing.
Right? I've never once have I said, like, I'm going to go on this person's social media and call him a poop face, let
And
alone
light them
something
up.
mean.
I mean, sure, the Rose character was completely unnecessary.
So what?
But the actress did a great job playing the role.
She was a doll,
and
dude.
she had nothing to do with the story in the first place.
I'm convinced that the people that are doing this are the same people who self-identify as incels. They seem like the same bitter, angry trolls that are just need to die.
For those who aren't aware, incels are people who claim to be involuntarily celibate.
I didn't know what that was.
Oh no, that's a thing. Haven't we talked about this before?
I don't remember.
They're the jackasses that are. That's a topic for a whole different show.
But again, what would possess you to torment like a real life human being? If you want to go to Star Wars forum and say Rose sucks,
right?
Great, you have fun with that. But if you want to look up the character's name, her personal, and then torment her, God, there's a special place in hell for. I mean,
you're wrong.
That's way
you're wrong,
beyond,
and you're broken, and you're wrong.
You need something to do with your life.
I've never met. I can't. There's not a character in any movie in the history of my life that I hate that much, where I would even know what the actress's name was.
No. Like I'm thinking about all dude.
Everything.
So the Miami Vice reboot made me angry, and I was still not angry enough to hunt them down and talk shit.
All I do is tell my friends at the bar that
the movie sucks. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, your beard doesn't go all the way down your neck, so.
Randy with a shot.
Sebastian Maniscalco. Whatever just happened to the salmon sucked. Let's get out of here.
Seriously. But what other character? They did it to one other character. I know you said Daisy Ridley.
Yep.
I think John Boyega. They were relentless on him. And I heard what's her name from the all woman Ghostbusters? Like the the black lady. They destroyed, she's quit social media.
They hacked her accounts. They
God.
it was dude, I don't
knock it off.
Dude, it makes me ashamed of being a geek, because these are people that say that they are, and you're not. You're just an asshole. And that's all there is to it.
We get every 3 months we'll get an email going, you guys suck or whatever.
Right. Although we just got the email. We got the email today from the guy who's going to go see Solo because we said it was okay.
Yeah, he announced himself as the butthurt fanboy.
Yeah, he told me that.
And I was like, oh no, we're getting destroyed. And he's like, love the show, guys. I want to go see Solo based on, I'm like, oh, cool. It turned out good. But yeah, what part of your life went wrong?
A lot of it is my guess.
I'm guessing
all of the teenage years. For those that have made it out of the teenage years.
Like the bad remakes. RoboCop. Okay, no. You want to be angry. RoboCop remake was probably the worst movie in humanity. I don't even know the guy that played.
There was the Footloose remake, let's be honest.
Oh, that was bad too.
See, and still never hunted them down.
I don't even know who played the movie.
I couldn't even tell you who was. You put a gun to my head. I can't tell you who was in that movie.
The Footloose new movie was the guy for the.
That's because you don't live in your mom's basement.
There's that too, yeah.
World of Warcraft. How do you kill that which has no life? Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, hey, I know we're coming up on a break. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, we're going to be back with Michelle Richards from the Women Business Conference. This is the IT in the D Show.
And we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read. Meet. Listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland. Secret Lives of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back, segment 2, episode 251 of the IT in the D Show, hanging out live here in Podcast Detroit in Studio 1. Beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Randy, I do the Twitters Walker. Find us online, itinthed.com. Give us a like on the socials. Leave us a review for crying out loud. Tell us we suck. And subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, and I did forget to mention during the intro, so 2 years ago today, we were getting Studio 2 up and running here, our second studio. And this week we are getting Studio 6.
Indeed.
Up and running down in the shipyard.
It's going to be awesome.
That's insane.
That place is going to be one of the coolest places in town when that gets going.
Rumor has it there's going to be an 80s night there, DJ'd by a certain DJ Glockenspiel.
I love that you have to ask me yeah, it's going to be 80s night. And I'm like, yeah, am I DJing it? He goes, I didn't want to insinuate.
No.
I would.
No. I said they're going to do an 80s night. I don't know if that's something you'd want to be a part of or DJ, or if you just want to hang out. You were like, yeah, I want the cheesy boofs.
Well, no, because usually you're like, hey, dude, we're going to go to Comic-Con in Saskatoon, Canada. I'm like, I don't want to go to that. This is yes, makes sense. Hey, we're very lucky to be joined by Michelle Richards. She is organizing the 19th Annual Women's Business Conference, going to be held at Cobo Center June 19th through the 21st.
Which is not in Livonia.
No, because the top of the thing says Livonia, Michigan. So I'm like skimming it. I'm like, oh my God, it says Livonia. And they totally yelled at me during the break.
As they should.
Right. It's at Kobo, not the Livonia Kobo, the Detroit one.
The Detroit Kobo.
Michelle, how are you?
I'm great tonight, Bob. Thanks.
Thank you for putting up with our hijinks and our goofiness.
It reminds me of hanging out with my younger brother.
I hope that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
So I was doing a little reading on it. What is going? This is the 19th year that this conference has taken place. Talk to me about what's going on there.
It's actually so amazing. It is 3+ days of women business owners from around the country, some of the most successful, some of the most new, innovative.
So this is not just for local. This is a national thing.
In fact, no, we have a whole delegation coming from Mexico, from Canada, from Germany, UK, India, and it's bringing women business owners who are growing and really driving economies around the world. But the majority are going to come from the U.S. We have a large delegation from Detroit.
Okay.
We've been, I have been working with women business owners now for 34 years. I started in kindergarten, so just add another 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, so this is a culmination of those efforts. And for the first time, we're having this here in Detroit. What that means is that women business owners here get a chance to meet with major corporations who are trying to do business with women business owners. So we have matchmakers.
Okay.
We have this great college student program. We call it Next Gen. And it culminates into a pitch competition where they can get $20,000 to start their business.
Wow.
We have great matchmakers with corporations, and we also have a program called Innovate Her. And so women business owners will pitch what their newest innovation is, and corporations will decide if they want to do business with them based on those innovations.
Okay.
So it's really very interesting, and for a business conference, kind of provocative from the regular source of training, networking, handshaking. This is about what's going to happen tomorrow in this world,
Sure.
and not what's just happening today.
Sure. So, I mean, on the obviously we're a technology show, right? So, I mean, on the technology front, I like the innovation stuff. What's going on in the IT world is, I mean, obviously STEM. Pushing STEM for girls is obviously still a big thing. I have 3 daughters. I'm like, you're taking coding, or or you're not.
All right, take away your iPad.
Your iPad's gone, right? I mean, that's kind of my mindset in my house. I mean, talk to me about some of the STEM programs and things like that that are going on.
Well, STEM is definitely important. Actually, you understand here in Detroit, the automotive industry is now considered to be the mobility industry. It's no longer automotive.
Oh, for sure.
And the ads that we're getting from these automobile companies show the cockpit area without a steering wheel. And so autonomous vehicles, they're developing new technology. Yes.
I don't want it. No.
I know. I understand. But the point is that so many industries now, while they work in a specific area, are really technology companies.
Well, when they talked about Ford, Well, I mean, when they talked about Ford buying the train stations, it's going to be their, I would say innovation hub, but it's going to be their center for,
a lot of
next
the
generation technology. Yeah.
Yes. And so I think that what we're going to see come out of, in particular, the automotive industry and all of the related technologies will be extraordinary and have ripple effects everywhere. But technology is really critical to all of our businesses. And frankly, women business owners, what makes them unique is that they're flexible. Women, we were raised to be flexible, to fit into men's lives. So part of that flexibility really serves us well in business because we're willing to pivot. We're willing to change. We don't have to take a lot of baggage. There isn't a...
we're pretty obstinate and stubborn.
Yes.
I own that. Yeah, we are.
We're different. And so it makes the culmination of moving in new directions exciting, scary, and at the same time doable.
Well, yeah, and just taking a look at the schedule, it seems like you've got 4 pretty solid days of content here. Like, what are some of the highlights people should know about?
Some of the highlights that people should know about. That's a good question. We're going to have a great time at Easter Market on Wednesday night, having this reception at, the oldest open market in the country.
Absolutely.
And also we're going to be having this expo with 220,000 square feet. We have 500 booths.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through the list of exhibitors. Mother of God.
Yeah.
It's like everyone.
Everyone.
I mean, you've got airlines, you've got retail, you've got Walt Disney, you've got, I mean, like Coke, Pepsi. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So whether you are a staffing company in IT or whether you're selling something related to IT or peanuts, you're going to find an opportunity. We actually have helped women who sell peanuts get into airlines.
So what's the goal of the exhibitors is to look for new suppliers? Is that?
The people who are exhibiting are either trying to sell or buy, and
Right.
same for the people walking the show.
Okay.
And so 6,000 people will be there, and
I saw 6,000
incredible-
attendees. That's
a major event.
right.
Yeah.
I can imagine the hotels and the are going to be a buzz in the restaurants, and like the whole town is just going to get completely transformed downtown. I think we're hanging out downtown, Dave, during that week. Just so 6,000 businesswomen from around the country.
We can find podcast guests.
We can find podcast guests. Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
I think you could.
So now, that's a dumb question. Do they let guys in?
Of course we let guys
I was just
in.
asking. I didn't
you know.
know.
What? We even have a program called He's for She's, where
Okay.
we honor guys who are helping to promote women in business
Okay.
in various ways. And so we take that very seriously when you're able to support us. And frankly, for women business owners, this is an opportunity in 3 days to do 6 months of sales prospecting.
Sounds like it.
Extraordinary.
Put them all in a room together, and yeah.
Yeah. We're natural networkers.
Right. No, that's, I mean, like I said, I was telling you beforehand, that's how we got our start. Just meeting up at a bar with IT folks, like-minded people, and look what this thing has grown into. And it's kind of, it's kind of the same thing, right? Started off as kind of just networking as the core focus, and look what this thing has grown into.
Absolutely. Well, you all are really great entrepreneurs. I loved hearing your story because, this is what I do.
Yeah, no, as it, we grow with it. I guess what are some of the other things that people can expect to see or find when they're walking around?
We have some great keynotes, and we have great business stories. Lynn Tilton, who owns Dura Automotive, which is kind of an extraordinary story where she worked on Wall Street. She got fed up with it. She patented a plan to buy U.S. companies that were on the verge of bankruptcy or in bankruptcy and buy them out, save iconic American brands, and to save U.S. jobs. And she purchased something like 70 companies, including like what was, McDonnell Douglas Helicopters is now MD Helicopters.
Right. Okay.
And so on. Rand McNally. And brands that you would recognize, and was able to save about 250,000 jobs in the U.S.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. So she's one of our keynotes. She's one of our women business owners.
And we think we're cool
stories.
getting 2,500 people jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You are.
250,000.
You are. You're living up to your responsibilities to create jobs for our community. Fabulous.
And still are. We're trying to.
Yes.
We started just to have conversation. We started a small program getting people into level 1 IT jobs, just to start
Perfect.
careers in IT. If you were displaced from retail, or if you're just in a dead end job, or if you don't have a job, we're trying to make it easy for people that don't have 20 grand and can't go to a IT school,
A boot camp.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
To get involved.
Exactly.
Anything on the training side at the conference, or?
Yes, we have a wide series of workshops on everything from public relations, marketing, image, growth strategies, strategic planning, and so on. Critical areas that you have to have in order to really grow your business. But what's extraordinary is with the women just that we service, which are 1,200 certified women-owned businesses, they employ about 250,000 U.S. workers here in the area, and which is
That's just
extraordinary.
local?
Michigan.
Yo, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Huh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like just looking through like some of the breakout sessions that you've got going on. I mean, you've got everything from overcoming the challenges of international business. You've got some healthcare, supplier diversity. You got something about millennials. Bob, they've got cybersecurity 101. Which a damn good thing to be having,
right?
Franchising. You've got organizational change. I mean, it seems like you've got a lot of really good informational sessions going on during the course of this entire program.
We do. We want to make sure that we cover any aspect that you need in order for you to move to the next level. We do have a Canadian delegation coming. The Minister of International Trade from Canada is coming. So it's becoming quite a large process where they want to be able to see women business owners doing business with women in Canada and to build supply chains across the borders.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess, so what haven't we hit yet that we should? That's always my question.
Everyone is welcome. You do not have to be a woman business owner. You do not have to be a woman. And that there's opportunities there to learn.
Hey, I had to
it's a
ask.
fair question. I get asked that a lot, Bob.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say I wasn't that far to left. He likes making fun of me.
I know.
It's what we do, in case you haven't noticed.
I know.
Well, and honestly, taking a look at the pricing for a multi-day event like this, it's not bad.
Really, you're paying for your food and your drink tickets, and in exchange, you get all these opportunities because we have these great sponsors who are paying for the majority of the costs.
God bless sponsors.
How much is it?
I mean, you've got everything from, member pricing at like $6.99 all the way out through, if you're a newbie and you're just showing up at the door and know nothing about it, it's about $1,200.
Which is, I mean, when you talk about feeding people, if you ever got catering bills from some of those companies,
yeah,
like, oh, you want to put out a coffee table during a break?
That'll be $8,000, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wait, what? No, I think it's like $8 a head. So if you got 6,000 people, that's already. Yeah, you want coffee? That's
48 grand, yeah.
Or 40, whatever. I can't do math right now.
I thought I was going to pass out when we did the food tasting and they told me how much it was costing. And I thought, I think everyone could just have a simple salad for lunch and we will be fine, and water.
Right. Just bring in Jimmy John's and a couple tubs of water.
But what I do want to say, though, is that on other days other than these 4 special days next week, we certify women-owned businesses. And what that means is that we recognize and provide a national certification to women who are for businesses that are majority owned, operated, and controlled by women. And we help them to accelerate their business growth by so much, so quickly, through opportunities, training, networking, access to capital, and so on. And so it's not just about next week. We're going to be there for 52 weeks out of the year helping women business owners grow.
Well, you're a nonprofit. You're Michigan based.
Yes,
this is, I'm sure this isn't what you do all year. So I'm glad you pointed that out. So, I mean, how did someone find you to get engaged with you if they want to go to this conference or just engage with you in general?
They can check out our website, which is Great Lakes WBC for Women's Business Council.org. So Great Lakes WBC.org. Or they can give us a call at 734-677-1400. And we're there to help.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Well, and we'll have the link. I mean, because the links for the conference itself is a little out. So we'll make sure that's in the we'll make sure that's in the show notes and all that kind of stuff. People can click through. That's usually the easy way to handle it.
Yeah,
WBENC.org.
Women's
Yeah.
Business Enterprise National Council.
I've tweeted it already.
Thank you.
That's why he does the Twitters. He keeps us honest.
But for the other 51 weeks, you can reach us at GreatLakesWBC.org.
Very cool.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome.
Appreciate the time you spend with us, Delora. You've been very quiet, and it's nice to have you in the studio with us as well.
Thank you.
But yeah, 19th through the 21st of June at Kobo, the Women's Business Conference. We might let's pop in for a day. I think that'd be
absolutely
fun. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna be back with Diane Bois from the Ann Arbor Health Hacks. This is the IT and the D Show.
Hey, and we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
itinthed.com.
Welcome back. Segment 3, episode 251 of the IT and the D Show, broadcasting live here, Studio One in Podcast Detroit, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob, the sales guy. Dave, the geek. Randy, I do the Twitter's Walker, is getting Baron Yeager. Find us online, itinthed.com.
Does that mean that Randy does the Twitters and the liquors?
He does. Oh, no, don't you? That's not going on his business card.
No.
Find us online, itinthed.com. Give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, so before we get rolling, introducing the Huawei MateBook X Pro, winner of 27 awards at Mobile World Congress, including Best of Show Laptop, Best Innovation, Best Design, Editor's Choice, and Reader's Choice. With Windows Hello, you can unlock your Huawei your Huawei MateBook X Pro with a touch of your fingerprint. Secure, fast, no password to remember. Huawei MateBook X Pro, now available at Microsoft stores, Amazon, and Newegg.com. We like all of those.
I know.
For a limited time, get a free $300 gift card with purchase, and just go ahead and visit a Microsoft store near you today to check them out and pick one up.
Go to Somerset this weekend.
Yeah. Microsoft
It
store.
looks slick. I was scooping them on Amazon. I'm like, I like it.
They're pretty cute.
Yeah.
I kind of dig them.
I know.
I might have to play. Damn it. Another thing I have to buy.
I've been wanting one of those damn Surface Pros, but they're not innovating those lately. So it's like, oh boy.
Yeah. So now I've got my Casper mattress, my automatic in my car,
shaved with a hairy
my
shave
Scotty
kit.
vest jacket,
Dollar
my
Shave Club.
Dollar Shave. Yeah.
Eat HelloFresh.
Or the other one, depending on who's buying this week. Yeah, exactly.
We have a third time guest. You looked up your episodes. I think this was way back when we just opened this, like 2 years ago when we opened the studio. Diane Bois.
Yeah, it just popped in my memory on Facebook, and I think it was when we still had the sound blankets up, like we didn't have the acoustic tiles up or any of that stuff up. Yeah.
But Diane Bois is in town with Ann Arbor Health Hacks. Welcome back to the studio. How are
Thanks
you?
for having me. Doing well. Excited to be back.
We like people with accents, so we always like having you in.
Oh boy.
It's very rare.
I tried to minimize it. I've been trying to minimize it for years.
You should
say it's getting better every year. Thank you very much.
No. It's you're locked. It's all,
There's nothing wrong with accents.
No, it's not. It's separate. Well, then the problem is everybody says, "Where are you from?"
Oh boy! And then I ask, how much time do you have?
It's just
the
Cleveland.
short answer is Europe, and what I generally say when I'm addressing a crowd of people that I can't see right now, but I'll just believe there's a crowd out there. The accent you hear is between German and French, and you'll hear.
I was going to guess Cleveland.
Exactly, because there's Germans and French people in Cleveland, so but Ann Arbor works.
True, good enough.
There's Germans everywhere.
There's Germans everywhere. There's Dutch people everywhere too. So the more time you have, the more I'll tell you where I've lived before the U.S. But right now, maybe you don't want to hear all of it.
Let's talk about Ann Arbor right now.
Ann Arbor's good. Been there for 15 years.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
like
a local.
It's a good town.
It is. It is. Come on out sometime, like maybe in 2 weeks or so.
I'm supposed to go to our meetups, but Randy runs them, and he does. Maybe I'll show up.
He said we're not allowed to come anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Caused a ruckus on the first one. So Ann Arbor Health Hacks, I believe the last time you were in, you were talking about this as well. The free code for a can of Red Bull hackathons. I'm just kidding. For those that didn't hear that episode, or what talk to us about what Ann Arbor Health Hacks is, and let's go from there.
We're a nonprofit with, and then I'm going to tell you the mission, right? We're a nonprofit, with the mission of healthcare innovation and spawning healthcare startups, because what comes out of hackathons are startups. Usually when I meet somebody new, I say, do you know what a hackathon is? And half of the people say, is that like bad people breaking into my computer? That's the non-IT people. This is how you differentiate between people who know something about IT and people who don't.
And the other half are the cynical people like me going, is this where you get free code for a can of Red Bull?
And Cheetos.
And Cheetos.
And I say no, because it's still your code. We don't want any of your
I'm
code.
just being
You
funny.
own your code. Oh yeah, but I'm jumping in your
Well,
face.
that's not incredibly common. I mean, that there are a lot of hackathons that you wind up giving your code to whoever's running it. Yeah,
that's correct. So if you were a large corporation and you hosted a hackathon, then you would want people to show up. You give them lots of swag and free food and things like that. But practically, then you own their code.
Right.
Well, we don't give you a lot of swag. We're a penniless nonprofit.
Good.
But you own your code. So all we have literally for swag is stickers. But we have stickers. They're cool. Yay.
Everybody likes stickers.
It's a really awesome event. And we got free food for you for 48 hours. And that is why we raise funds all year to feed you for 48 hours. Have about $5,500 of total prize money to, spread over 3 prizes.
Which isn't bad.
It's going to be great. I love this. This is why I do this.
Well, and so stickers, I think I forget who it was that posted it that basically said, hey, I finally figured it out. Stickers on laptops is like prison tattoos for criminals.
And that is spot on. That's why we have.
Look where I've been, man. Yeah, exactly.
True.
People. So what you don't see right now is people in the studio are showing off their laptops. I'm showing off my cell phone. I've got a sticker on my laptop.
There you go.
But on my cell phone is the Ann Arbor Health Hacks sticker.
I felt left out, so I'm putting them on my notebook.
Well done, you.
Yeah.
And you can have a second one if you'd like to.
No, I'm good.
He's stickered out.
I am.
No, so I guess let's talk about the hackathon. I mean, is this, so from the standpoint of hackathons, is it, your traditional type where you're looking for, developers, designers, just people with ideas? Like basically, is this an all are welcome kind of thing? And then you merge everyone and Voltron together while they're there?
All are welcome, and even more than the people you just mentioned, because it's hacking and making. And so if you like making physical prototypes of devices, this is your place as well.
Oh, so do you have like any of the hacker spaces with, a bunch of 3D printers and that kind of stuff coming out?
Heck yes, actually, due to a partnership with the brand new TinkerTech and Ypsilanti.
Yep.
We have them as a satellite location for the hackathon, where the main hackathon is going to be held. The fire marshal frowns upon soldering, and so if you're going to solder stuff, solder at TinkerTech. And Michael Plouffe at TinkerTech has been very gracious as being our satellite location throughout the weekend. That means that you can use his equipment. If you need stuff, you can buy the stuff. And so that's basically depending on what you're going to make. You can definitely use the equipment and the space. Practically, if you're going to be making things that require 2x4s or things like that, you can come and talk to us organizers and we can see about that. If you're a hacker in the more traditional sense, bring your laptop, obviously. Sunday noon is when you show off your prototypes, and your prototypes can be a piece of code, an algorithm, an app that you coded. It can be the device you just cobbled together, or things that are completely analog. We have had in years past, people make very fashionable incontinence wear. And so then the skill in making was sewing. So whatever your skill set, come and combine it with other people's skill sets. We want hackers, and there are some people who have created some really fabulous algorithms in past years. And we've had some people who have soldered together some fabulous devices. So whatever it is, come make it.
Are they taking direction from any of the saying, hey, we're really looking forward to this, or hey, we're really having a hard time with this problem? Or are they giving direction to the attendees, or are they letting them kind of be free and think clear,
So, we have great keynote speakers. Our topic this year is health in low resource settings. And thanks to a collaboration with 2 different university departments, and I'll go into that in a second, we have a special track that is on transition into independence for young people with disabilities. So if you are a parent who has a child with a challenge, be it cognitive, be it physical, and if you think to yourself, oh my God, what's going to happen the day I'm no longer there? This kid will have to live on their own at some point or get help in other ways. What is it going to look like? That track addresses that. And so it is technologies, it is services, it is whatever you can think of that can make independence happen for right now young people to transition into independence from young people to adults. And that's
interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really very happy about this collaboration. It's a collaboration with the U of M Rehabilitation Engineering Center and the School of Public Health, Innovation and Social Entrepreneurship. And so now we're this independent nonprofit, and 2 University of Michigan departments who were not working together previously, who kind of we brought together in this interesting triangle collaboration. And we're super excited about it because we have some of the mentors from each of these. We have some of our mentors from past hackathons, and the theme has also drawn out of the woodwork people who care about young people with disabilities. It pulls on your heartstrings.
So, I mean, over the last few years, we've seen innovation in like 3D printing, where they changed casts and they've changed prosthetics for amputees. We've seen non-invasive surgeries, things like telemedicine. Is there anything kind of on the radar, or anything that's, I always like asking what's next, or finding out what's on the roadmap. Is there anything that kind of sticks out that people are really looking for?
We don't prescribe. Basically, we bring you really good keynote speakers, because if you're an automotive engineer thinking like, oh, healthcare, there's jobs in healthcare. I'd like to transition into healthcare, but I don't know what the heck the problems in healthcare are and how I transition. You show up to a hackathon, you bring your skills, and you form a team with other people, and you make a prototype of something in healthcare. Now to answer the question, how do I get inspired? Practically, so we have 3 keynote speakers who cover a broad range of topics. What are the needs? What are the problems that you could make a prototype for? And then everybody in the room who chooses to. In our case, that's usually half to a third to a half of the people in the room. So with 150 participants, make that about 50 to 75 people. Pitch an idea. 30 seconds, super tight, 30 seconds only. So talk about the need, not your solution. And if you sit in the room, you just listen and you jot down maybe on a cheat sheet of paper, Bob, number 23, really interested in suicide prevention. And Diane, number 27, really interested in mobility devices. And then there's an open mix and mingle period. You talk to Bob, you realize, Bob and I, we just don't jive. I don't want to form a team with Bob. But
that happens.
Diane, I want to form a team with her. And
not after you hear the idea I just came up with in my head.
That's awesome.
How to euthanize Dave?
That too. Do that in your sleep. It needs to be done.
I'm staying out of that one. This is between the two of you. You've done
no, he knows
250 and a half podcasts together.
Bromances involve passion.
It's a thing.
That's beautiful.
No, so I mean, I think to Bob's point, I know a lot of hackathons, I know when Oakland County did it, it was basically, hey, here's all the data we have about all of the different lakes, streams, water, yada yada. Folks that are coming in, please do something productive with that. So what is the overarching theme with this event?
The overarching theme is low resource settings. Basically, make whatever it is you're going to do in health cheaper, more accessible. And that has to do with the fact that my 3 co-founders of Ann Arbor HealthHacks were at the time, all 3, professionally and personally interested in the developing world. But low resource settings is not just the developing world. You can have low resource settings right in front of your door. People who don't have health insurance, so low resource settings can be anywhere. It depends on your definition of what it is. So low resource settings solutions can be just how the heck do I get to the hospital or to my doctor's appointment? But low resource settings can mean anything and everything. And so people in the past have come up with solutions, basically an Uber ride to the supermarket so that I can buy healthier food rather than from the corner store. As well as devices that help with for the visually impaired, that help moving around on your own. So it can be anything. As long as it's low resource setting. And to some extent, you get to define that. So I don't have large data sets that we make available for you. If there are data sets that you want to work with and that you can get access to, by all means do. We have great keynotes. We have great mentors.
Ethically and legally, please.
Yes, and thank you for that reminder. We're talking about ethical hacking, just like I said, my healthcare people.
You're inviting
say,
hackers and then saying, "Go ahead, get data. Go ahead."
Point very well taken. Yes, that would make our. Hey, we're a penniless nonprofit. Try suing us, but probably don't sue us. We're a penniless nonprofit. Did I mention that?
Yes.
So we're and what I always say is every human I meet is either a potential participant, a potential mentor or a judge, or a potential sponsor. So if you want to sponsor us next year, we'll absolutely take it. But practically, I truly believe that if you're passionate enough, I don't care what your skill set is, there will be smart and passionate people in that room to work with you. And so if you're a patient or a parent of a patient or just I'm going to say a concerned citizen, or you're like the multiple degrees computer scientist, that's all great. Young, old, we have people who are students, who are professionals, who are retirees in a variety of fields, including healthcare, of course. So if you're a nurse or a dentist or a social worker, that's great. If you're a designer or a coder, that's great too. The magic lies at the intersection. And the reason we keep doing it, we do this in our spare time. We are a 100% volunteer run, is because it's awesome. Come Sunday afternoon of the hackathon and you see what people have come up with in a weekend. It blows your mind time and again. And so we love it. That's why we keep doing it. That's why I keep coming back and talking to you guys. I mean, you're also really quite charming, but I also love getting the word out.
I haven't said a word because I have this idea stuck in my head now and I need to go.
So get it out. Go.
No. I'm not telling it on it. No.
Write it on a piece of paper and
totally
then crumple it.
Are you actually going to the event?
I don't know.
He won't.
Maybe.
And then 5 minutes after the show, he will have forgotten the idea.
No, someone's got to write the app for me, and Dave won't because he's already done with that.
Write it down, but don't show anybody,
right.
So you don't forget it.
Yeah, I won't.
This isn't your pooper app, is it?
No, it's
Practically, though, people are often really
That
worried
needs
and
to get
very
done.
protective about their idea. What I've been doing in my day job for a number of years is helping people with their innovations. And what I would usually say is, if your innovation is so simple that just by the mere fact of telling me I could take over, run away with it, and do it better than you can, then it's perhaps a little too simple. Because usually people in business look for an unfair advantage. So if your idea is complex enough where you could do it better than I can, then you can tell me, because I couldn't do it as good as you can anyway. Now, I'm not trying to draw it out of you,
right?
But the part of the hackathon ethos is sharing, is helping each other advance. And so that's why I'm pushing on the don't be super secretive. Be that at our hackathon or be that at other hackathons. Help each other. Together, we make each other better. And by not sharing, you're sometimes missing out on really crucial advice from somebody who could help you to the next level, or who could introduce you to someone who can help your idea become a reality.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's basically the entire point of these events is, if you could just do it all on your own, you don't need to come to this event. You just go do.
That's right.
Sit in your living room and code. Yeah, sit in your living room, code it, and be done with it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And because I'm a geek, I read studies, even studies on hackathons. And there are studies that say that the people you went to a hackathon with, or the people you met at a hackathon, even if you didn't start a company straight out of the hackathon, because you went through this intense experience with them, a couple of years down the line, if you're starting a company, you're going to call up these people because you know you can trust them and what they're like under pressure. And so that's another reason to just come out and have a good time, because even if the thing you make doesn't live and you're like, you know what, we're not going to start a company around that. It was fun, but I'll go back to my day job on Monday. That's cool. You had a good time and you met a couple of interesting people. I'm good with that. I like meeting interesting people.
Networking. Go figure.
Now, if I remember your website from last time, it was a2HealthHacks.org.
That's exactly
right.
right.
You're
remembered.
Brilliant. I didn't Google it or anything.
He's totally got that written down.
No, I did not.
Now all
He's looking at the back of her card.
But so it's Health Hacks. That means 2 H's.
Yep.
If you think about
Health Hacks.
Cool whip. Yeah, Health Hacks.
Get that right.
Yeah, not Health Acts. Health Hacks.
I sensed
Nothing about Axe is healthy.
No.
I'm sure we could find something, but I'd have to dig quite deep.
No, especially not body spray.
Yeah,
no.
Axe body spray. No, that's not healthy
I was
in any way.
thinking of Axe Hack. If you chop wood, I'm
Oh,
sure
that's
good
very
for your cardiovascular health, unless you chop your foot off. So
Right.
just don't chop your foot off. Chop wood. It's great.
Right, but body spray? No.
No,
I'm
there's nothing
staying
about
out of that. That's I got alternatives.
All right, so it's a2HealthHacks.org. When does the event take place?
It is the 22nd to the 24th of June, so it's coming up in 10 days.
Okay,
Woo!
so people can still register and sign up?
Yes, registration is open.
And they can just show up day of event if they want to?
No,
Oh.
because if you look at the website, we don't tell you where it is. Exact location. It's going to be on the University of Michigan campus. It's not going to be where it was last year. So if you went last year and you think you can just waltz up, too bad for you. The reason for that is because we are a penny-strapped nonprofit. We cannot afford walk-ins, because if you couldn't make the commitment ahead of time, you need to send us an email and explain why you really need to be in on that. We raise money
I get
hard
it.
all year long to have this event and feed 200 people for free for 48 hours.
Oh, it's like us. Like we do our free podcast day thing here the first Saturday of the month. And you can't just show up randomly because we have to staff and plan and yada, yada. Yeah.
That's exactly it. And so, everybody is absolutely welcome, but there's a registration process just for us to make sure that you're actually interested in doing something to, make the world a better place, find new solutions in healthcare and all of that good stuff.
Very cool.
It's cool. All
I'm
right.
excited.
a2healthhacks.org. Diane, always
That's
a
the
pleasure. Always a pleasure seeing you. And hopefully one of us will be able to show up for the event.
All right. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Likewise. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Jeremiah Dr. Hook from DailyDetroit.com talking about the Mackinac Policy Conference. This is the IT in the D Show.
Hey, and we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back. This is the ominous segment 4, episode 251 of the IT and the D show.
Remember when segment 5 used to be the infamous segment?
Yeah.
I remember.
This is Bob the Sales Guy. That's Dave the Geek, hanging out in Podcast Detroit, Studio 1, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Find us online, itandthed.com, because we are IT and the D. And
and you're still not. You're not. You're not.
Love ya.
And you never will be.
Muy, muy. Muy, muy.
Mwah.
Speaking of muy, muy, since I didn't do any bad segues today. Speaking of,
So I get the bad segue?
yeah, we got our old friend, that's Jeremiah Dr. Hook, the curator of dailydetroit.com.
I synergize stories and audio mediums and curate my selections.
He changes paradigms.
You change the paradigm of
Paradigms, not the paradigms. The paradigms, that's where it's all at now.
What's going on, Jer?
Living. It's a busy town.
It is. No, it's not a busy town because everyone goes up to Mackinac, then everyone gets angry.
Oh, that's true. That's right. But Mackinac's really nice.
No cars.
Yeah, I like that.
Horse poop everywhere.
Well,
I don't like that so much.
Well, I mean, all the politicians are going to be there anyway. So,
Where's the bell? Where's the bell?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, bullshit, horse shit, whatever.
So you spent what is it, a weekend at the Mackinac Policy Conference?
3-day week, yeah. One of the short weeks because it was after the holiday.
Okay, so I mean, you it seemed like you had a busy. I mean, for the text you had, which I know you were busy to begin with, like
Yeah.
you were slammed.
Yeah, I mean, Media Row is a thing, and being up there with all of these politicians, all of these business leaders who normally they will not make the time of day for you because they're busy. They're running large companies or organizations. Then they're coming by like on a regular basis being like, please, will you interview me? And I'm glad to do it.
Well, it didn't hurt that you had a really nice podcast set up.
I had a great podcast set up from the fine people at Podcast Detroit.
Ooh. Well, it's sort of like, Bob's whole theory about going to security conferences now. Every CISO in the, Tri-County area will avoid him like the plague because he's a sales guy. But we sit down at a table and put mics on the table and suddenly they all want to be his best friend.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say there are multiple folks from around town who are like, wait, those are nice microphones. What is that? What is that recorder? What are you doing there? So wonderful job, guys. Thank you for the support.
It worked out well.
Indeed.
But the content of the interviews I thought was pretty interesting. We've been dribbling them out on the Daily Detroit News Bite over the last week or so, and we've still got a couple more to go. But really interesting. Talk to gubernatorial candidates, talk to executives from places like Bedrock, actually talk to Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, a bunch of other folks. So yeah, really interesting conversations about the future of our region, and it's an election year, so that, of course, came up. I feel like the race is pretty predetermined at this point, but
in favor of
the establishment candidates. Although I did have both Sri Tanadar and Abdul El Sayed by the table. Talked to them; they had really interesting ideas. It was pretty clear to me too that the party brass was lining up behind Gretchen Whitmer as the selection, and because she's gotten all the endorsements of just about everybody who's an elected official or labor union. But there's a lot of interesting conversations being brought up. Of course, that old bugaboo, and I know I've mentioned on this show before, transit, which never seems to go away in this. Well, actually, it never
seems to go.
It never seems to go.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't need their brother just buy a car already. Buy a car.
Yeah. Thank you, GM. Ford,
exactly.
And Chrysler, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was actually just before the conference, I was out in Macomb County at 23 Mile Road in Mound. And it's amazing. I actually do not disintegrate when I cross
I was going to say, and
mile.
you did not fade into obscurity. It was amazing.
I did not. I only fade into obscurity within the city of Detroit. No one listens there. Forget the suburbs.
What, the old Ford plant?
No, the new Amazon facility.
Oh.
Yeah, they're building a new fulfillment facility. I'm not going to try to say that 10 times fast. And the extension of the Smart Line out there, because there is a real rift in belief systems in what people want for transit, and that came up onto the island as well. You've got the leaders of Wayne and Washtenaw County believing that we need a transit system that resembles much more of like a larger metropolis. And then you have Oakland County, Macomb County leaders thinking everything that we have is fine and there's no problem. And if there is a problem, it's a problem of Wayne and Washtenaw counties not coming to their area.
So, duh, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's to me, looking at it objectively, Detroit does have a subpar transportation system.
Oh, dude, it absolutely does. I mean, I living in DC, or hell, living in Boston for as long as I did, living in DC for as long as I did. I mean, like, you know, the Metro DC area is connected from like the southernmost points in Virginia all the way up to like the northernmost points of Maryland. Like, it's not just in the city of DC. I mean, you know, the metro system has, you know, 6 different lines. There are hubs everywhere. It's, you know, there are places where you can do the whole drive your car onto the train and your car's on the other side. I mean, it's amazing.
So this is why I wish
hold on a minute, Jay. This is one of my favorite arguments I've had recently. And it went something like this. I'm like, so you mean to tell me you're the first guy that's going to mock someone for having the Detroit Blank Company in Ferndale, right? When someone suggests a restaurant that isn't in Detroit, you're going to mock them. But yet, ironically, you're upset when the suburbs don't want to pay for something that you want. When this whole time, all you do is trash on the suburbs and how they're stupid and they're not Detroit enough, but then you want their money to give you something you want that they don't want. I go, Alanis Morissette sings.
But there's a difference here, I think, in this argument than other things, because it also benefits the suburbs in getting workers to jobs, and business owners know that. In fact, almost all the major employers of major size have come out behind transit plans because they know that in order to be competitive, we need to have things like this. You know, I feel like this is a little different than that. You know, I've always wanted to ask you, and this is one of the reasons why I was kind of wishing you'd be up there, be interesting. You're living in Macomb County.
Mm-hmm.
How would you, Dave, explain transit to your fellow Macomb County folks who voted overwhelmingly against it?
I have. And basically everything that I found out is it's a lack of fundamental understanding. Like, they don't get it. Like, so, you know, the conversations I've had with folks, it's like, you know, don't think of it like, you know, hey, I'm, you know, not even, hey, I want to hop on, you know, a subway at, you know, 16 and Gratiot and head downtown. You know, think of it as, you know, hey, I'm going to hop on, you know, the subway stop by my house and head down to Macomb Mall, or head up to Partridge Creek, or or just to go pick up my groceries and that kind of stuff. Cause yeah, when you put it in the microcosm of the city, a lot of that is, okay, yeah, it's expensive as hell to have a vehicle in any major city. Like, you know, I go back to DC. Mm-hmm. In DC, parking spaces could be as much, if not more, than your rent in some cases. So a lot of people just did not have cars. Well, then how do you go get groceries? You can't just you don't want to do that every day, especially
downtown Chicago at a Marriott, $75 a day to park in the garage.
Exactly.
We're headed there.
Yeah. And so, you know, whereas, you know, like a monthly Metro pass was at the time like $40. So, you know, okay, I'll just hop on the subway, head to wherever I need to head to get my groceries, and then I'll hop back on the subway and bring my groceries home.
Right. Well, and that is just not within our cultural context.
And people don't get it. They don't, and like literally every time I have that conversation with somebody, they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Well, no, because you don't have the context, and because it's not in the fabric out here at all.
Well, and especially for people that never go downtown or go down once every 6 months.
Right.
That's what they think it is you're going to take me to the Renaissance Center.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, it is strictly a fundamental lack of understanding that people don't understand what mass transit actually does for a region.
Well, in a big picture perspective, there is going to be a major shift, I think, because I don't think we're going to get a transit proposal on the 2018 ballot. And I do think that the winds are blowing toward Wayne and Washtenaw County doing a plan by themselves and connecting the rail there. One of the things interesting talking to business owners and businesses from other areas and other states is that is going to change their equation for investing. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an example of what worked up till now won't work into the future. And Oakland County and Macomb County are just not going to have access to those kinds of employers. They'll still have access to employers, but those national level employers that their workforce, which is a globally competitive workforce, they're just not going to put Oakland and Macomb County on their radar. And so that effect won't happen for 5 or 10 years. It won't, because the companies that are here. But in time, it's going to permanently hurt the property values of Oakland Macomb. But Oakland Macomb voters, they don't see it like that. They see it as people from Detroit, should not, don't need to come to where I am. And why should I pay anything extra for something that I don't personally use?
You wonder with the Ford buying the train depot, and I know Ford's in the car business, obviously they're going for automation, what they're going to do with all that damn train track that stops at their damn building. They're in a very precarious position because they have the power to do something cool with that.
Well, if you think,
and then if you talk to some of the old timers, they probably want to rip it out and burn it to the ground. But I mean, they have access to it.
Well, there's a reason why they're choosing Corktown. It's to be in an urban area to test their vehicles.
No, they
and
want to
their
attract young
technology.
technology people.
That's
primarily.
Well, primarily, it's about the technology,
Yeah.
right? Well, here's the thing that's interesting about that. You take that rail track, there's ways that you can connect things, and all of a sudden, what if you had a rail that ran from Dearborn and Ford to the airport to Ann Arbor and to Dearborn and Corktown?
Yep.
And that infrastructure and that right of way is already there.
And then instead of renting a car when you land at the airport for a meeting, you just hop on a train like every other major metropolitan
Is there train tracks
area.
at DTW?
For freight deliveries, I would assume there have to be.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
If not, I'm sure they could put them.
I know the
there.
tram in the airport, but I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't count.
No.
Yeah, there's freight deliveries out that way. And the other thing about it too is if you think about that, so you talked about that airport example, let's roll down the line 6 years. We get this thing going. If you're an international job, if you're somebody who's looking to connect people to jobs, right? You are going to be where you can connect to the airport. Oakland Macomb County will just not be in the running. So in reality, long term, Oakland and Macomb County leadership are making long-term terrible decisions, in my opinion. It's not even about that 1 mil tax or whatever. 5, 6, 10 years from now, they will just be uncompetitive with how the world is changing. And I hear all the time from readers, well, this isn't how it is here, blah, blah, blah. The rest of the world has changed. Detroit is behind.
Oh, absolutely.
We are behind as a region.
Well, that's why I said, dude, there's not.
And we don't want to admit it, but it's a problem.
No, there's not a burb in the major metropolitan DC area that isn't connected by that metro system. There just isn't. I mean, now granted, it has its own flaws. Like, I mean, they just recently stopped shutting down at midnight.
Right.
But I mean, it's still, I mean, you look at a map of it, it's amazing what they do. And, in Boston, another old industrial city, still has the T and everything else going on, went through the big dig and still kept all that. So, I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, well, and I know I've said this before. Like when people back east ask me about the area, I'm like, look, we have all the same cool shit that, a Boston or a DC does. I'm like, the only difference is you're going to be driving to get to it. Like that's just how it goes.
Well, and for talent attraction, that just won't be acceptable.
Yep.
And that is what's going to be an interesting shift. And one of the things that was an interesting undercurrent was the change in tone toward Mayor Mike Duggan between suburban leaders. L. Brooks Patterson being much more competitive about him before we got to the conference. L. Brooks not even going to the conference. There is a feeling that the momentum for economic development has switched toward the city of Detroit. And in a lot of ways, they don't know how to deal with a city of Detroit that isn't a charity case.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see about things going forward. I don't think we're in an era, we're looking for an era of much regional cooperation right now when you've got people who are frankly afraid that things are changing and they don't know what to do about it.
And again, you got to break the walls down if you want that. This can't be this ownership crap. We either got to be a region or we don't.
Right. And neither side seems very interested in doing that.
And I mean, the hipster mentality bleeds from the top, and that needs to change. That whole you're not Detroit enough. You can't. That's such a garbage mentality, and you can't have it both ways. You can't have this ownership and then go, but please help us. It doesn't work like that.
Well, and vice versa. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of knowledge that just isn't correct when it comes to the suburbs about Detroit too. A lot of people go down to the city for a ball game or to get dinner, but they don't really know what's happening down there. Right?
Oh no, it's a drive-by. They go down, hit a game, and then get the hell back out.
Right. I mean, downtown Detroit's restaurant scene is like a tourist trap.
And that's Chicago. That's Indianapolis.
There's people from the suburbs who refer to the whole 138 square miles as downtown. David.
Who does?
Ooh.
Said who?
Snap.
The new studio is not in downtown.
Midtown.
Yeah, it's in Midtown.
Yeah. You have a post on the website saying it's downtown.
It is in downtown. Shut up, Randy.
Midtown's in the 7-2.
It's in greater downtown.
It's not downtown, though.
Shut up, Randy.
Stab you in the neck with a pen.
Speaking of Greater Downtown and that Ford deal, that was actually announced today.
Yeah.
That Ford is in fact buying the train station.
Worst kept secret ever.
It's such a badly kept secret. Oh my gosh. They may as well have had somebody with a sandwich board sign out there.
Right. They might have all
Ford is
just
coming.
slapped the blue oval on it like 2 weeks ago. Everybody knew. Yeah.
But it's going to be a major impact with what's happening in the city.
Interesting thing. Sorry, Jared, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'll do it anyway. Interesting thing I read that the city of Detroit told them in 2009 to tear it down, and they ignored them.
Yep.
So like that thing would have been gone if they would have listened to.
Interestingly,
Thank you, Kwame Kilpatrick.
Well, no. Interestingly enough, what I read was that it's not so like the Maroon didn't actually buy it.
In 95, he bought it.
No, he didn't buy it. No. He was owed a great deal of money by the guy that owned it and took that in lieu of payment.
No. So you got the guy's Rolex.
Yeah.
Got the deed to a UHF station.
Right. So, and there are people that are still, they're like, oh, he sat there and left it abandoned forever and now he's cashing out. No. Dude, again, just shut up and be happy that somebody's doing anything with it.
They better make it something I like or I'm going to bitch on the internet.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That's true.
Well, no, but so part of the whole transit thing. There's an article we kind of skipped over in the opening that came out today about the issues with the Detroit workforce.
Yeah.
Where there's basically a 54%. What did they call it?
Workforce participation rate.
There was there's a 7.4% unemployment.
Well, that
which is
means
a lot higher
workforce
than the
participation is people that adults that can work
that are looking. Yeah,
that are looking or not looking. So right now, 53% are actively in the job pool, whether they're looking or working, considered unemployed or working.
Yep. And they said, a lot of the folks, you've got issues with, either criminal backgrounds or didn't get a high school diploma, that kind of stuff. And that's one of those things where you look at a lot of the trade work that's going on in particularly Macomb County, where if someone had, if these folks had better access to transportation and could get out to those, because dude, there's not a trade company guy that I know right now that isn't desperately just dying for people.
When I was out at that announcement, there were 4 houses being built right around the corner.
And those are 70, 80, 90K jobs. These aren't,
or just dude, or like being a guy on, one of Vince's cement crews.
Yeah.
No, it's
Go
not.
figure a guy named Vince owns a cement company.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's not glamorous. No, he pays people like $15-$20 an hour.
Right.
I mean, it's a thing, and there's a lot of those jobs open in Macomb.
Well, that comes down to that idea of, we always tell people to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, but we don't give them any boots or straps.
Right.
And that is the fundamental flaw that I see with Metro Detroit is so often we're like, you need to go fix things and do it yourself. And then we don't give you any of the tools in order to do that.
Yeah, with no support, no resources, we're basically just going to Tom Hanks you on an island and be done with you.
Right. And I can't tell you how many people I know have actually moved to other regions to do stuff because they've been able to okay, I can work my way up. I can take the train to, not have to have a car the first year and all those different things. And you talk about Macomb County with transit. I'm always surprised about the business owners. Why aren't they a little bit more noisy, or maybe they are noisy and people aren't talking about it? Because people like that cement company, they need workers, right? And that also goes into the Macomb economy.
True. And, but unfortunately, the vast majority, I won't even say that. I would just say that, you also have that lingering Macomb mentality, which is the city bad, Macomb good.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a thing that, there's a lot of, dude, I think on both sides of the equation, there's a lot of mental inertia that needs to be overcome, and it ain't going to happen today, it ain't going to happen tomorrow, but it's got to freaking happen.
Well, and I think that's why it's important to have more things where people actually come together outside of just say the sports ball.
Right.
Right. More conferences, more ways to bring folks to oh, okay, I actually know somebody over here, right? Or I know somebody who lives X.
For the first time for the last 4 years of my 45 years in existence, saying you're from Detroit isn't followed with a fart smell look on your face and asking if you have a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. There's a long way to go past that, but I guess this is a start, right? Where you have people like Anthony Bourdain, rest his soul, saying, I wish I could say I was from Detroit. I wanted to make jokes going, well, if he was from Ferndale, then people would say you're not Detroit enough, but I didn't go there. but the fact that people like that think so highly of this region is pretty effing cool.
Yeah, I mean, when you travel and you go places, and the amount of feedback we get on the website and the podcast from all these people from around the world are interested in the Detroit story and our comeback. And it's funny sometimes when you see people from other places sometimes love us a little bit more than we do ourselves. And what I mean by that is not just posting on the internet, I love Detroit, but like actually reaching out to people that you don't know and extending your circle. It's one of the reasons I always liked the IT and the D concept and what you guys did. You guys, I'll never forget the Suburban Kryptonite blog about that time in Hockeytown, and vice versa, bringing people, at Blackfin at the time and, now many other places. Bringing people together and getting to know people is the way that we break down divides. We're such a divided country. The way to break that down is through personal connections. It's not through yelling at each other at the internet.
Oh no, that's why I remember. God, I still vividly remember like the first events that we threw down at Detroit Beer Company. We'd get like 6 people showing up.
If that.
And that was when we were already having like, 40, 50, 60 coming to the ones in Royal Oak or wherever else we did them. And I was like, we're not, and the people would bitch at us. And we're like, we're not stopping. You don't come. That's your option. This is where the event is happening. This is where the people you enjoy talking to are going to be. If you decide that's not worth, then don't come. Don't care. I'm not going to try any harder than that.
Well, and good on you for doing that. And for all the things that have been happening in the city. I mean, the shipping container studio is super exciting. And that's a neighborhood,
But it's not downtown.
But it's that would be a virtual slap of branding. It's an area of town that, as part of Midtown Cass Corridor, that frankly over time has seen, better days. But I mean, now the neighbors to the studio are going to include like Founders and just a few blocks away is Third Man Records and all these things.
Your Temple Bar and the Masonic. And
Can't forget the Temple Bar.
Never.
Those guys will never let us forget the Temple Bar.
No, they won't. No.
But there's so many great things happening there. And the thing is when you step outside the door of that place, you still see so many empty spots. There's still, people don't realize there's still so much potential in what's happening in the city. If I see these things online. Oh, Midtown's this and that. If you take Midtown and you put it into a more functional city, it's an average neighborhood.
Yep.
Below.
At best.
At best, it's an average neighborhood.
Below average.
I lived in Midtown.
Shot.
Yeah, I lived in Midtown for a long time. There were, blocks, half blocks right around the corner from me that were still completely vacant and occasionally not mowed. Right. And this is like south of 94, right near Woodward. These things are not finished. Detroit is not baked yet. There's still plenty of opportunity there and across the city. And what it's going to take is lots and lots of people deciding that we're actually going to do something instead of complain about something. And the more people that do something, all the better.
Complaining so much easier though, Jer.
Slacktivism.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest takeaway from Mackinac? I mean, was transit it?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that we need to be more vocal about what we want as people. I think a lot of leaders have a lot of ideas and theories, but when it comes to actual issues, we get really upset on the internet about whatever meme of the day or whatever
gaffe
controversy, one side or the other. But we need to be engaged about our neighborhoods and our community and our state. Because what I saw was people who, it doesn't take a lot of people to make a big impact because so few people are speaking up for what they actually want. And the more people that present their case and say that they want something to happen, these folks are going to listen to it. We're talking in the tens. That's how much apathy has been happening with some of these very important issues.
Sad but true.
Right. If you were in a hearing in San Francisco or in Chicago about one of these things, you'd have a packed house. Here it's crickets.
Yeah.
So if we care about, and whatever issue it is, it doesn't matter. Say something, do something. You will be heard because there aren't that many voices talking. It's one of the reasons why we're leaning into this so much, even though it'd be a lot easier to write yet another burger list, Bob.
We need to do that.
We do. More burgers. Also, since it's summertime, it's all about that soft serve ice cream. Irma's is the jam. Something in Macomb County I like. Irma's in Warren. Really, really good. Really good.
You need to hit the, I'll show you where the Dairy Maid is.
Ooh, okay. All right.
We go to the oh my God, Twist and Dip. That's our joint by the house.
The Twist and Dip.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check it out. We'll check it out. Isn't there like the Freeze in Madison Heights?
Yes. Yeah, there is.
Over there on what, 12 Mile?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Clawson's got a joint. Yeah, there's one everywhere. There's one right down 11 Mile from here with the Superman in the phone booth.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Superman sex doll. Yeah.
What?
We don't, basically it's a sex doll in a Superman costume in a phone booth out front, right down the street.
I mean, I saw the Superman. I didn't investigate enough to see that it was for that.
It's a sex
Unless
doll.
they took it from a Kmart.
It's not a mannequin. It's a thing.
Wow.
All right. Well, hey, so we find you at dailydetroit.com and all the things.
All the things Daily Detroit. And we have a daily podcast now.
Yes, you do.
It's a real thing.
Traffic and weather in the twos. Isn't that what it is?
Monday through Thursday, it's what to know and where to go. We've run 5 to 6 stories, and we do an in-depth interview. And in fact, we dove deep with Dan Austin of Historic Detroit on Michigan Central Station.
Oh, very
today.
cool.
Nice. Jer, appreciate it. As always, you're welcome back anytime, as you know. This is going to wrap things up for this episode 251 of the IT and the D Show. We'd like to thank Michelle Richards from the Women Business Conference. I'd like to thank Diane Bois from Ann Arbor HealthHacks and Jeremiah. Also, like to thank our sponsors, Huawei, Eero, and Huawei. Thanks for keeping the lights on. On behalf of Bob and Dave and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
See you, folks.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy. Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. Game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Rude.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the trees.
Bear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about the tag team? Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.